Welcome to the shooting show. This week, Chris Dalton brings us our first roebuck of 2017. Plus we bring you all the latest news from the shooting world.
Okay, we're back in. Nice morning, frosty morning this morning. Good morning to be out. Early bucks, sort of well early into the season. Dean came along. We went along a moorland edge. Seen some deer out there while we've been on reds. So we thought we'd come back and try to get one of the bucks, and that's what we did this morning. Right on cue, very early actually, just at the half light, there was a buck out just across the fence line out on what we call the mosses. Probably about 140 yards. Everything sort of set up ideally for a nice shot on camera. Therein we start to encounter a problem, namely the stalk and me. So I think it's only fair when you show everybody else's mistakes to show your own. I'd actually got a mound in front of me and thought I could get the bipod deployed, and the mound would give me enough sort of height to get over the top of the stock fence to get the shot into the row. What I hadn't seen and couldn't see properly was the straining wire on top of the fence when I wasn't clear of that. So what actually happened when I took the shot on the buck is I don't think you pick it up on camera, but Dean and I clearly heard that. Fortunately no harm was done. Buck was rather surprised, very fortunate, as you see, bound off, none the worse for wear, but quite a salutary lesson. If you're not 100% certain, then you don't take the shot. I honestly thought that I was clear of the fence, but obviously I wasn't, so as I say, lesson learned. Buck lives to fight another day. We actually continued the stalk, got into a couple of does, got one nicely on film, stalked right into it, cameraman excelling himself. But no buck with it, so we continued, and then right down below, the dog was indicating actually, and right down below is in a little gully which you couldn't really see, very close. There was a buck, kind of came up. It was a fairly quick shot. Unfortunately the only thing we got on camera was the death run, if you like. It all happened so quickly. So cameraman failed, although to be fair it wasn't really his fault. There was not a lot he could do about it. It was just one of those situations where tucked in a dip down below us was a deer. It just nicely worked up, nice sort of buck came across in front of us, and it was literally rifle up, shot done, while Dean was still faffing around trying to get it on camera. I'd all on to get it on shot. Oscar, show me, show me. Good lad. Good lad. You got a nice little 6-point roebuck. Couple of years old, 3 at most. Nice little buck. Good nick. 20-30 yard run, heart-long shot, so I never knew much about it. Still in winter coat. Very good condition. Okay, this is one of the things we look for on an animal, is for any sort of parasitic or tick burden, which might be an indication of poor health. I mean, there is a couple of ticks just around the groin area. There's another one, there's one, there's maybe a third, but I mean very clean. If it was a massive tick burden, then it will be something that you perhaps need to look at a bit more closely on your inspection, but I mean everything about this deer indicates it's healthy. A little bit of a growth there, that's nothing. This is one of the problems you get when you've got a roebuck that's been laid down and only just got stood up after relaxing, full bladder. So just an area you need to be careful of with your gralloch, because the last thing we want to do is be puncturing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the pelvic bone with the bone saw down there, and then just free around carefully with my fingers around the anus, and then I will carefully lift all that back and then nick it off at the V there and then lift it forward, and that will bring the bladder and everything forward, and the contents will then be emptied downhill and not down into the carcass cavity. A flat cut for the bone saw, not too much pressure because I don't want to go bursting through it and rupture the bladder. And there we go. What you need to do with the S-hooks then is make sure they're wide, so you open the pelvic bone, which will allow you to free all that off and then lift it back. Nice and neat, and careful not to nick it on the joint. It's cut back, so I can now lift that forward and push that all the way down, and then basically there's absolutely no contamination within the pelvic area whatsoever, and any contamination now is going down onto the floor. Okay, this is Oscar's reward this morning. He gets his kidneys. So even from a fairly bleak moorland area, you can usually manage to engineer a tree for a suspended gralloch. We've got a nice little willow there growing just on the valley, which just provided us with a nice convenient branch to do the gralloch. The deer we just sat letting that cool off just for 10 minutes before we pack it up into the predator, and then we'll wander off back to the car and we'll go get some breakfast. Okay, back in, giving the rifle a clean. As you always clean the outside of the rifle and oil it and moderator off, oil the threads, etc. Keep the scope clean, but as far as cleaning the barrel goes, it's not something I do other than kind of once in a blue moon. But anyway, this is the blue moon. We also put the new sports match mounts on the rifle, so that's a kind of put those back on, rechecked everything on the old trusty Swarovskis, so that's the combination we're using this morning. These mounts are good actually, very easy to put on. I like the way they fasten with a sort of screw on the far side there. It's really secure, gives you every confidence that, you know, you're not going to sort of start losing zero, scope's going to be moving them out. So it's actually is a good bit of kit, this, and I'm very, very pleased with them.
Chris there, showing that stalking's not always plain sailing. And now, the shooting show news.
This is the shooting show news. This week we report from Browning's European press event in France. Getting through thousands of rounds of ammunition, Browning gave journos the chance to test a huge range of new guns, including the high-end B25 shotguns, ex-Bolt with Macmillan stock and the Winchester SX4 semi-auto. We were there to document it all and to ask the organisers what they were most excited about.
If I should remember one product, I will say that it's not a Browning, it's a Winchester. Frankly speaking, I love the Winchester SX4, so the new semi-auto shotgun from Winchester. It's just crazy because I'm not good at clay shooting, and with that one, I don't know, it was just impossible to miss the target. It's really well balanced, it's light, you do not feel so much recoil, and yeah, you have the impression that the barrel finds itself the target. So yeah, I really love the Winchester SX4.
I mean, I think we're going to call it something like the Browning Blast or something like that, because it's, you know, it's just the weight of ammunition, 24,000 rounds. I loved Raniero Tester. He was extraordinary. The trick shooting, and I shall be going straight home, finding an offer's land, and working out if I can do anything like that sort of thing. It does look really, really good. And then, of course, double gunning with semi-autos. What could possibly be wrong with that on a grouse moor?
I was considering that we have to change the approach, and so the practice first, so that's why I've tried to reduce as much as possible the theoretical sessions, to only give you the gun in your hands and to give you the Browning and the Winchester experience, and of course not the kite experience, because we are really happy to welcome a new brand in our group.
In other news, it's just a month to go until the Clay Shooting Classic, and there's a huge prize pot to be won at Europe's largest independent clay shoot. High Gun will take home a Browning B725 Sporter, while the runner-up gets a Betton Solly X-Trail as well as a personalised leather gun slip from Ogden's Shooting Supplies. Cartridge sponsorship from Fiocchi, as well as cash prizes courtesy of host Southdown Gun Club, brings the total pot to nearly £30,000. Head to the Clay Shooting website for all the details. Olympic shooters are starting to speak out about the proposed removal of double trap from the Olympic programme. The discipline, which has given Great Britain 2 of its last 3 shooting medals, is set to be replaced by a mixed trap team event. Olympic hopeful Matt Coward-Holly said he's had to start training in Olympic trap because of the uncertainty. He said he enjoyed double trap a lot more, but now we haven't got a choice. But he doesn't reckon our Olympic medal hopes have been dashed. He said with a group of shooters moving into the discipline who've all shot abroad, it'll be good for trap. Look out for the full interview in the next issue of Clay Shooting. And finally, we'll see you at the Northern Shooting Show this weekend. Now in its second year, the show is set to make use of the brand new Hall 1 for the first time. It's going to be bigger and better, with backing from industry giants such as Ely Hawk, Basque, Blaser, Deer Hunter and Longthorn Guns. We'll be scouring the show for news to bring you a full report next week. When we're not roaming the aisles, come and see us at the Sporting Rifle and Airgun shooter stands. That was the Shooting Show news.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of Basque, it's time to join now. Basque, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.